I'm Kanan Chandran, and welcome to WED WEB CHAT. This is our regular series of discussions where we look at issues that are trending and whatever's shaping in the world and that we want to discuss and talk about. This is a series that has been going on since the start of COVID, and we are well in past 80 discussions, and we cover a whole range of different topics as we work our way towards some degree of normalcy, I guess. I suppose the COVID period has been quite difficult, been quite challenging for a lot of people. And a lot of people have tried to accommodate that, tried to compensate for it. And they've developed new ways of relaxing, of enjoying themselves. A lot of people have been getting into physical activity. Nature parks are full of people. A lot of cyclists on the road and on tracks. So people do want to relax, and they've had a reason with COVID, I guess, to be a bit more intensive about relaxing, largely because they wanted to get out of the house. But today's discussion is on the art of relaxing, and I'm sure all of us are trying to be relaxed as much as we can, because life is quite stressful. There are a lot of things going on, a lot of intense demands on our time. And so we need to have that period where we can switch off and do something else. But relaxing also requires some effort. I mean, I think if you want to be playing a game and you want to play it well, you need to invest the time and energy in doing it. If you want to take up a skill, you also need to invest time and energy in it. So to be able to relax enjoyably, then you probably need to be a bit more focused. Even watching a movie, if you're not focused, you'll lose a plot, you'll have to rewind, you'll have to rewatch. So it requires a lot of focus and some training to get into the space where you actually enjoy whatever relaxing endeavor you get up to. So those of you in the audience, if you have suggestions or ideas about relaxing, please feel free to use the Q&A and the chat box, and the panelists and I will get into that as we go along. Now, today's panelists come from varied walks of life and are engaged in different activities for their relaxation. We've got Abimanyu Shunmugam, who is police superintendent, and he took up ultramarathon running, which is really long stretches of running over a few days, over all kinds of varied terrain. And he takes part in competitions regularly. He runs hundreds of kilometers for each of these sessions. And for him, a warm-up jog is probably like a lifetime's worth of running for many of us. We've got Janet Loh, who heads the comms team at ESSEC Business School, and she took up pottery and painting to relax. She's participating in an upcoming clay festival, which opens tomorrow. It's an exhibition at the Heliotrans on Keppel Road. She'll talk a bit more about that. She'll also talk a bit about how she got into these endeavors as a way of relaxing. Ganesh Ramanathan is a lawyer by training, and he has taken to lawn bowls as a form of relaxation. But he's the vice president of the Lawn Bowls Association for the Disabled. So I'm not sure if that's very relaxing, being part of an association and organization that takes part in international tournaments. We've got Fazil, award-winning songwriter and singer. He has purposefully made music his craft. Besides writing lyrics for artists like Ramli Sarip and Ella, among others, he has recently celebrated I think it's the 30th anniversary of his English album at the Esplanade recently. And one of his songs is Rilek Brader, which is very apt for today's discussion. And for him, besides sleeping, it's forest bathing and cycling that will help him relax, right? How did you get into this specific area that you have chosen as a mode of relaxation? Let's start with you, Janet.
I started pottery and painting in 2017. That was the year that I took on a local role at work, so I didn't have to travel so intensively. So it really facilitates me learning more about art and all that. And also I've always wanted to do pottery because it's really mindfulness, when you concentrate and focus on playing with the clay, it does help you be more mindful and forget about the day's woes in the office. Yeah, that's how I started way back in 2017.
And how often do you do this?
When I first started, I was still running mostly half marathons and full ones, so not ultra yet. So I did it like once a week, so one painting session a week and one ceramic session a week. Then later on, because of some health issues, I went more regularly because that one is not so strenuous on your body. So so that's how often I do it. But now, because I sell my work and I take part in exhibitions, so that's how I do it a lot more often. And sometimes it's not as relaxing as you think because you have to meet a deadline, or when there's a commission, when somebody say, I can you please make 10 dinner plates, same size, exact same size, and it's all handmade. So it's stressful in a way. Yeah, so the exhibition is happening tomorrow. Please do come and support. It's happening at Art Space Hello Trans, which is Tanjong Pagar District Park. There will be 200 ceramic artists displaying, so not just me. I have high stiff competition, so it's again a bit of a pressure, but do come and see the bustling art scene in Singapore.
It doesn't sound very relaxing anymore.
I was packing my stuff till 2 a.m. this morning, actually.
Okay. Well, I'm sure it'll go well.
Thank you.
A lot of people into pottery and potty people out there as well, so maybe you could get them to get along.
Yeah, come and get some tips. Yeah.
Okay. Abi, let's hear about your runs.
Okay, I guess I started ultramarathon in 2012. It was just an extension of what I used to do before that. Before that, I was more into road run, tracks, marathons. Half marathon. Never really ventured into a full marathon. I straight jumped into an ultra marathon. So ultra marathon kind of got me to travel all over the world, and I don't know, challenges me in different aspects, both physically and mentally. Like what Art say, what's the term that he used? Bathing.
Forest bathing.
Forest bathing. Yeah, so when I'm out in the mountains, I'm forest bathing 24/7. And I'm always switched off from my work, social media, everything is off. I'm just being present and being mindful of where I am. So that's where I am.
Okay, so I think in your case, Abi, it's not something everybody can get into, right? It's how difficult was it for you to jump? I mean, you did half marathon, which is already quite an effort for many, and straight into this. Why didn't you go via marathons, sort of ease yourself into it?
Okay. It's a long story, actually. Let me try to summarize it. There was a challenge put to me that if I can, instead of doing a full marathon and be able to complete 100K, someone else would join me. So that's how it came about. Instead of doing a marathon, I jumped into 100 kilometers.
And how much do you run in a week?
It depends. In a week, usually my baseline is about 8 hours a week. But as I'm preparing for a major race, it goes up to 21 hours in a week.
And what distances do you go? Sorry?
Distance in a week, 8 hours is about 70 kilometers. 21 hours is about 150, 160 a week.
And when you're in a competition, what's the length that you cover? And I know it's different lengths, but what's the length you cover and the time that you take to cover it?
I'll just talk about my recent race, which is my background at the back. That was the Swiss Peak held in September. It's 360K. The cutoff time was 156 hours. So I took about 133 hours to complete it. So that's by far the longest run I've done.
Okay, so all your essentials, your bodily functions, you have to do on the run, is it? Or can you stop en route? I mean, do you have places you stop, or just
Yeah.
you catch
So
whatever you can? Forest sleeping or mountain sleeping in this case.
if it's urgent, you just go to the mountains. Otherwise, there are checkpoints along the way where you can access toilet facilities and also sleep.
Okay. So it's organized, right? It's quite civilized in that regard.
Yeah, it's quite civilized, well organized. Safety is taken care of. But usually in such races, you sign an indemnity saying that your experience, if anything happen, it's your own responsibility.
Okay.
But touch wood, so far, I think there are only 2 events where people have died. I think a couple of years ago in China and a race in Europe. The China one was massive. Almost about 20 people died because the race organizers did not warn the runners there's an impending weather coming in, and quite a number of people died. Otherwise, it's a pretty safe event. Other than
Okay.
pushing yourself, getting blisters and abrasions, otherwise you're okay.
Okay, I don't know how that's relaxing, but we'll get into that later. Ganesh, okay, lawn bowls, and why this organization in particular, the Para Lawn Bowl Association?
Okay, before that, I mean, the history from young, I always enjoyed playing sports. It was fun, carefree. You play with friends, you can play for hours until your mother comes chasing after you, telling you to go home, bathe, and study. So then I used to play football, of course, and then hockey in school and other sports like badminton and all that. But after a meniscus tear in the mid-30s, I slowed down. So ended up doing walks, slow tennis, until like 12 years back, I came across, at the age of 46, I came across this sport called lawn bowls. I picked it up and it was quite fun and relaxing. It's actually a mind game, it's actually strategic. So it's got both your physical activity as well as your mental element there. But though you need to focus, actually it's quite fun and relaxing. So since then I've been playing quite regularly, not as often as I would like to, but I try my best to at least go down at least once a week to play and to relax, because after playing you actually feel good, and then of course the next day you actually work better. Okay, so bowls can be played by able-bodied, disabled. So this is for the Association for the Disabled. So I think they, just to help them out to raise the profile of the game, raise the awareness. Actually, not many people are aware of the sport of bowls. It's actually an old sport, but not very popular or common here because of the lack of facilities. Only 3-4 venues are there. So, and there's this group of dedicated people who are dedicated. You have 2 sorts. One who's happy to play social and go back. The other one, they are more competitive, so they are in the national team. So a little bit of a payback, it's still in sports, but to try and help this group to reach out to more people to come in and play, like I said, because I like sports, so hopefully I get more people to come and play for a healthy, active lifestyle.
How is the Singapore Lawn Bowls team doing?
Actually, the association was formed in 2004. Over the years, they have been taking part in competitions on and off. But lately, I think because of probably, the older players are more seasoned and more, now the opportunities are more for them to train and play. They have actually been doing well. Like in September, our men's para pairs team won a bronze medal at the World Bowls Championship in Gold Coast, Australia. I mean, this World Bowls is the equivalent of a World Cup football or rugby. So it's quite commendable. They are out of 11 teams. I mean, they won bronze. And in the recent Asian para games in China, out of 5 para bowlers who went, we have a silver medalist in the women's category and a bronze medalist in the men's category. And these are against powerhouses, Hong Kong and Thailand, Indonesians and all that. So pretty good achievement in their respective categories. And the other 3 also did well, but didn't progress further. So the opportunity, there are more opportunities now, and we want to send the players to more of these such competitions. Of course, hopefully the new ones will come to take over, right, for the future.
Okay, cool. Oh, that's great. I mean, it's good that you also can get a chance to get a bit more information about lawn bowls out to the general public, right? Art.
Yes.
What you do is what everybody generally does for leisure, to relax, listen to music, right? But it's a job for you, or is it?
Yeah, well,
What is relaxing to you?
writing songs is very relaxing. Writing it, right? The process of writing, because it's very introspective, and you go through a lot of thought process, emotional process, so, and then you get to express yourself, and that's kind of like an outlet as well. The stressful part is concerts, performing. Then you be intensive. You have to train up. You have to be physically fit, and that is not relaxing at all. Although it's relaxing for the audience, but as a performer, it's not relaxing. But the process of writing itself is sometimes I just sort of take the guitar and just play randomly, just not even for to write anything, but just to mess about. But the problem is that when you mess about, a new song comes out, and then you start writing new stuff. I do also dabble a bit in painting as well, just to relax.
Is that your painting in the back?
Yeah, like not finished. I got a few. And a couple of friends have been asking, finish out your painting that we can do for an exhibition, and that becomes stressful. So I kind of avoid that at the moment. Sort of on a regular basis, just cycling for me. Cycling just around, because I live in Woodlands. So I used to hate living in Woodlands because it's too far from everything. But now I'm so thankful because there's like so many amenities. There's like I can cycle to Mandai Zoo, I can cycle to Seletar Reservoir, and then it's quite near Bukit Panjang where I used to this is the result of COVID, the period of COVID, the lockdown. I ended up doing trail running at Bukit Panjang. I got into it because my friend Lim Yu Bing, the actor, because he saw me posting photos of me running around my park, and he said, "Oh, come and do forest trail running." So I ended up buying trail running shoes, those very kind of thin stuff, and then we do quite regularly. Not so now, because now we can travel out. But before, I got into trail running, and I mean, obviously because in the army I used to run, and I used to play football. So being physical has been part of being relaxing for me. And then also the effect of that physical strenuous activity, you get to relax more after that, I think. Yeah.
Okay. And you also indulge in forest bathing.
Yeah, that I do because as a kid I used to live in a kampong where we used to walk. I live quite near Ganesh Reservoir, so I used to take shortcuts after school and all that. So that has become kind of a regular thing. Whenever I feel I need to do some healing, you just the catchphrase now is healing, and these kids are going, "Are we going for healing?" So I don't know what trouble they have. They're going to go for healing. But forest bathing is basically just enjoying the natural surrounding, because we are an urban society. We're caught up in this kind of all these urban settings, which do add up to the stress, and I think being away from it for a while, I think that would help. Just even to sit down for 15 minutes in the middle of our forest, and you close your eyes and you hear amazing things. You hear the sound of birds, the wind, that you will sort of ignore if you are kind of caught up with your everyday thing, Yeah, so that helps. And traveling, if I used to travel a lot more, and long train rides are great for me. I love long train rides and long bus rides. I get to sleep peacefully in long bus rides and long train rides.
Okay, I think the sound, especially in trains, the sound of the wheels on the track is very rhythmic, right? Makes for easy sleeping. So would you ever take up ultra marathon running?
I've imagined, I've looked it up. I looked up at local marathon thing, but I think after years of playing football, my knees are not giving away. So I'm careful with that. I mean, I do still run, but I'm kind of cautious about not overstraining my especially the knees and the ankles. So I did imagine maybe I could try, and maybe I just try for fun, where I end up last, maybe, but just the local ones maybe for now.
Do you find it relaxing to do things on your own, or in a group? Which works better for you? Abi, yours is, a lot of it is solo, but still, you do team stuff as well, right?
Yeah, I think my weekend runs are with my big groups. It's more, literally relax, chill out, just talking, catching up with friends. Weekdays runs are on my own, and races are pretty much on my own. I think each has its own set of benefits. Running with groups, you always run slower, catch up with friends, get to know each other a bit more. Running on my own, it's more introspective, being mindful of the environment and other stuff as well.
So do you feel that you need to get something out of relaxing? And what is it if you do?
It has become so automatic for me that I don't need to get anything out of running. I just once I wear my running shoes and get out on the trail, I feel a sense of calmness, because I'm switched off from the realities of the world, especially when I'm out on the trails in races where I'm running for 5-6 days. Yeah, I'm switched off. The only way is when I take out my phone and call. Otherwise, I'm switched off on what's happening. I'm just focusing on being out in the mountains, enjoying the scenery. Like the last race, I got to see mountain goats running up. I was trying to race with a mountain goat. Obviously, the mountain goat was faster than I. Yeah, so yeah, it has become automatic that I just feel relaxed wearing my running shoes and getting out on the trails.
Okay, so you expect a certain sense of calmness to come over you when you do run, right? So that's your return.
Yes.
Right. So okay, so that's an automatic return. Okay. Ganesh, how about you?
Actually,
Yours is a team sport, right?
no, actually, both you can play alone or with groups. I mean, socially, if there are people there, you just join in, or when you play, people come, you can play. But I actually enjoy playing. It's a sport you can actually play alone. You can just take a mat, you take a jack, and you have your set of 4 bowls. You just center your jack, and then you can just practice. You can play alone. In fact, it's much more challenging because you are just you're just focusing and connecting with yourself, you see. So don't bother about what your opponent does. Even in a game, I mean, your opponent, if he plays well, you try and play better. But it's actually I actually don't mind playing alone. In fact, I would prefer it lah, because of course a lot of the sports you need people. Don't talk about the team sports, football, hockey, even tennis, badminton, almost the whole works. You need somebody to play with. So this is a good sport where you can play with people or you can play with yourself. Yeah.
So you shut things out when you are playing the sport?
Absolutely. I put my phone in the bag and I put a bag at the bench at one end, and then you just play. Don't bother by anything else. And then after that, you go and, if necessary, go and take a look at your phone and see all the missed calls and messages. Yeah. So during that time, I just want to focus on playing. Yep.
Okay. Janet, for you?
For me, I enjoy doing it alone as well because then it allows focus. And also, I especially like to paint and do my ceramics work at night. When you your mind winds down. And so I remember I was in the studio one time and the studio was playing some very sad music and I was doing some very sad painting. So I was like, but that was when I was the most expressive, actually. But there are times when you have a class of other participants and your classmates come and encourage you or give you pointers and tips, and that is I appreciate that as well. So yes, personal preference is doing it alone. For example, during COVID time when there was lockdown and you can't go for group classes or can't do things together, I was actually more bold. So I took up different brush strokes and I experimented with clay because I had no one telling me not to do this, this is not the right way. And I actually produced a few better, in my opinion, better, bolder, more expressive paintings, which actually got sold. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so I think sometimes we come from an environment where there's a lot of instruction attached to the things we do. We got to do it a certain way. So maybe this whole thing of doing it yourself and cutting away all those things that bind you to a certain discipline is a good thing, right? To do. Is it a form of relaxing? Is it relaxing as a result?
For me, it was relaxing and it clears the mind. And it really is healing. To me, it's really healing. So I know I'm talking about pottery, but I totally identify with Abi, because when I was doing running, I love to run at night in the dark. In Singapore, it's safe enough to do that, right? So in the botanic gardens, not terribly well lit. The only reason why I had to do it at night is because I was working long hours. And it was super healing, relaxing, healing. Somehow I felt I could really fly, I could run faster. Yeah, so I think my tip for everybody is really make time to do what you like, and pursue your passion, whether for hobby or for full time. Yeah.
When you say healing, what is being healed?
Like your mind is full of complications, problems to solve. I'm talking about a full-time person who has a full-time 9-to-5 job like me. And of course, if you're retired, then you might not have that much issues at work. So you're talking about solving issues at work, or your business plans, and mentally healing as well. So I felt that it was rejuvenating as well. Yeah.
Okay. All right. And art?
I think like hanging out with friends, having your teh tarik session, I think that's kind of relaxing, because you just like you leave quite usually people don't even talk about their problems. They just leave it and we'll just talk rubbish, just talk about whatever nonsense, whatever the issue is. I think that is kind of like help to kind of relax. Like, like your sort of your going to your coffee shop or hawker center, having your coffee or tea and just hanging out, I mean, like it's a group thing. It's like, I mean, if you drink teh tarik alone, it's quite sad, because it's just obviously you're thirsty. It's like drinking beer alone, in the morning. That guy's got a problem. He's drinking beer in the morning alone, So you see a bunch of guys drinking in a group, then it's a social thing, right? So it's the same with like teh tarik session. We just chill and all that. But as a group, but I think individually, everybody finds their own spaces for looking for their peace. Some I've got friends, I mean, in their 50s playing drones, getting new bicycle, and in fact youthful activities. So I think this whole relaxing thing is up to the individual, like what actually takes your mind off your work issues or problems. And a lot of people tend to also travel, because that helps a lot. I mean, talking about mountains, Abi was talking about mountains. I remember one time I spent 4 days in front of Gunung Agung in Bali doing completely nothing. There was a cottage that was on good offer, so I rented the space for 4 days, brought my guitar, but I hardly wrote anything. But I remember sitting in front of that space and looking at Mount Agung for 4 days, just doing nothing. Come back in for lunch, makan, and then sit down. And when it's too hot, I come back and sleep. So I think we need to have that kind of, if we can afford it in terms of time, and also if the work commitments allows you, that just to get away from it all, and that would help, I think, in terms of calming the mind, and you don't get too stressed out, because that could lead a lot of physical complications. A lot of the physical problems that people have, heart conditions and all that, strokes, a lot of it is related to stress. From the studies that we've read about, so stress is a very number one killer, I think, in urban society. So we need to sort of learn to find ways of detuning ourselves, in terms of the stress. I remember this one time I had throat problems. I find it hard to sing, and maybe I was feeling, I don't know, maybe I was stressed too, so I took up yoga. So, and then we have a lot of this, our community centers, there's a lot of this stuff, and they're pretty good. So I took up yoga, and I could I could do stretches that I never thought I could do. you know, this backflip thing, like where my legs stretch and touch the back of my head. At one time, I thought, this is magical, man. I could do this, you know. So I think there's a lot of activities that actually is on offer that people, and they're cheap, and then sometimes even free, that you don't have to spend a lot of money, and save you a lot of money from, you know, seeing a psychiatrist or psychologist or to solve your problems, you know. I think it's just that, you know, being physical, being involved in traveling and finding your niche, what actually makes you feel happy at the end. Yeah.
Can you still do those stretches, the yoga stretches?
Not not the back, not the flip ones, but I can still do some of it. Yeah, I still practice it. Not every few days I still do it, but you know, small, like 15-20 minutes. It helps, and the fact that it helps me when during my concert performance, all the stretches, and my warm-up sessions really before the show would be like, I have a skipping rope, so that helps to kind of take my mind off the stress. Being physical is very important in losing, because sometimes the pent up energy and the stress, it accumulates physically, so that when you release it by running, and Abi, I know the best kick you get is when you finish the run, right? When you finish that run, you go like, man, and then the few days you are in a Zen mode, right?
Yeah.
Once you've done running, a few days you're in a Zen mode. I know that, you know that feeling, right? Yeah. So it's that when you can have a physical activity, like even your sports, playing football, whatever games that make you sweat and then tire yourself out, I think that would help in release stress. I mean, the problems, whatever mental issues or work issues, will not go away, but I think the body will be able to relax and handle it once it recovers.
You okay? Your song, "Rilek Brader," right? How did that come about? Was the inability to relax the reason for it?
Yeah. I just play a bit.
Okay, let's hear it.
Okay. Relax, brother, relax, brother, relax, brother, relax lah. That's the chorus. And he goes, bila kau pernah tengok komputer, bosan dengan Facebook dan Twitter, dia kata gitu, itu kata gini, rasa-rasa macam nak maki. Jangan, brother, relax. Bila kau sedang memandu, tiba-tiba kereta belakang potong dengan laju. Aku tahu kau dah rusing, ikut hati kau nak racing. Jangan, brother, relax. There you go. Relax, brother, relax, brother, relax, brother, relax lah. And goes on and on and on.
Great, thank you.
So the song is basically, the verse is, if you're looking at, this was written during Facebook and Twitter days, you know. Now it's TikTok, obviously. So it's like if you're going through your Facebook and Twitter, and this guy is saying this guy is saying that, you feel like swearing at them. Relax, brother. Take it easy. And then when you, especially now in Singapore, when you're driving, and then somebody cuts you from the back, and you feel like you want to race against him, don't, brother, relax. Yeah. So it goes and on like that.
Okay. I mean, it's a great piece of music to accompany your life, right? Just a constant reminder that you should chill a bit more. Just chill. Okay, look, I think part of the problems with the people and the quest for relaxation is the fact that we live in fairly intense society. It's getting more challenging. Do you think things like the cost of living, or even all your futures, I mean, is retirement an option? Is retirement something you want to do? Can you afford to live beyond once you stop working? These sort of things will always weigh heavy on you, and it's not an easy fix quite often, right? How do you think being able to relax will help you get into a better frame of mind? Have you had instances where, you know, something quite intense has been there, but being able to relax and do something else has helped you find a solution? Has that worked for any of you?
Actually, the walking, especially in nature, really helps to calm me, and really gives me some brilliant ideas. Besides relaxing, you get some brilliant ideas. And then while thinking through your questions, thinking, actually I've been attracted to sports that are played on grass, like football, hockey, and now this lawn bowls. Although it's artificial grass, but it's still like grass. So it's probably this thing about nature, where it
Connecting.
helps me to calm down, and so yeah,
So
walking.
do you do this with music on, with headphones on, or do you listen to the nature?
I listen to the nature. I don't use phones and all that. I know I see a lot of people do it, but no, like what I think one of them said, you just walk and listen to what's around. You'll hear amazing sounds, birds and also the other and insects and all of that. And then they have a certain rhythm to it, and you can actually, it's quite calming as well.
Do any of you use things like earphones and music when you are doing your relaxing activities? Abi, on your long runs, do you use
No,
headphones?
no, I don't. No, I don't.
And not when I'm up and about, because when you're out, especially in nature, you need to be quite alert as well, because obviously there are I mean, like little things like snakes and all that. Also, you need to be aware of things.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you're at home, I mean, there's so many music now on YouTube that's free, and like all this ambient music that's very calming. And then they have different types of sound that using different hertz, you know, like 442 or 448 megahertz in terms of the sound, and it affects your the sound affects your body as well. So a lot of pop music's on 440. Apparently, it's not very good for relaxing or resting. But 448 or 442 hertz is something that people use for meditation. And I think the thing about relaxing also is obviously it affects it comes from stress, and stress comes from a lot of mental noise in your head. And I think one of the best ways is pray. You know, whatever your faith is, meditate and pray. Go to a place of worship, and most of these places of worship are quiet, and you have calm moments where you can, you know, communicate with the universe. You can communicate with the creator. I think that also would help if you know to calm your nerves and deal with stress and help you to relax. And the other thing also is pets. I see a lot more people keeping pets, because having to deal with pets, walking your dog or keeping your cats and all that, I think that also helps people to calm down and relax, because when you're dealing with your animals, your pet, you're in their world, you know. You take your dog for a walk or whatever is behaving, or your cat, and then you talk to the cat, although the cat don't understand you, but you think your cat understand you, and you just talk to your cat. So that is a way of also relaxing, I think, you know. So I see a lot more, and you can see that because there's a lot more pet shops around, pet grooming shops as well, you know. So I think that also, I think human being survival mode, you know, they find different ways of how to keep themselves calm and relax.
True. How much of an influence has your devices and social media been to getting in the way of your relaxing?
It doesn't, because the studio I go to, they do play music, and usually I'm so focused that I really switch off. I'm so into what I do. And I like pottery because it's very tactile. So when you mold your clay and you can shape it from a lump of clay to something that you like, so that is really very fulfilling. So in short, the music or the background noise doesn't quite affect me, unless you are already not centered. I'm using a pottery term here. Unless you're going into the studio already very disturbed, and the studio plays a horrible music that you don't like. Actually, I remember there was one time I asked the manager, can you please switch off that music or change it? So that was the only time that I was irritated by the background noise. But other than that, I really am quite into what I do in my zone. Yeah.
Okay, so you don't need any other influences.
No.
Abi, sorry, you were going to say?
Yeah, I was about to say, I think for me, it's very addictive to run early in the morning, like 5 a.m. or 4 plus, because while I'm on the trails, the only thing I'm focusing on is my headlight shining on the trails and whatever surrounding is happening, the noises that is coming out on the trails that I am. It gives me a time to really switch off everything. I'm just focused on the headlamp, the light shining on the trail, where my feet is landing. At the same time, allows me to focus on my breathing as well. And the best time is when it starts to sunrise. You can hear the animals, the birds, everything starting. The forest becomes alive. It's very beautiful. I enjoy those moments. Yeah, so that keeps me very calm. And then after I finish the run, more calm, relaxed, shower, back to office, back to reality.
Abby, where do you run? Where do you run? I'm curious. Where do you go to run?
Bukit Timah and Macritchie.
Right. Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
I
those are
might
the
see one of
usual
these things.
trails.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, okay, maybe we should form a little run group. Haha. Yeah, maybe it might be easier to start gently with lawn bowls first.
Correct. Yeah.
Just long walks with friends. I think is calming enough. You know, don't over. I mean, some can do more strenuously. Some, if you can't. I remember when I was a kid, I used to see these 3 or 4 gentlemen. Almost every afternoon they'd be walking on. Because I used to live near Peace Reservoir, I could see them every day. They would just walk and they just talk, and then they keep every day. When I was a kid, I used to see this guy. It's quite brisk walking as well. You know, so I think maybe we can introduce brisk walking activities. You know, so Singaporeans can do long walks. I mean, now places are more convenient for us to do long walks. You can cycle right into the city as well. You know, from wherever you are. So all these activities I think helps for us to relax. I think.
Does relaxing require some sort of rhythm for you, schedule? Or do you relax when you feel like relaxing? How does it work for each of you? I'm sure it's different for everybody, but for you, Art, does it follow a rhythm?
I try to. Because of sometimes I have to travel out and all that. So sometimes the irregular hours sometimes is disruptive for me to do things in a regular way, you see. So I try to find as and when. So it's kind of sporadic. So I'll be like busy traveling and all that, and then when I'm back again, or when I can find time to relax, I would. So it's sometimes I wish I could have like a regular job that I can like really fix my days, you know. That would be a lot easier. But I think individually it's different because depending on your work commitments and your hours that you can put in. But for me, I just try to find as and when, so it's quite irregular.
So you grab whatever you can. How about Abi and Ganesh and Janet? Janet, is yours, does it follow a fixed pattern?
No. So again, I work around my work schedule and also my personal life. But when I was running, it does. I plan my life around the running training schedule actually. Yeah, because you know when you train for a marathon, you need that discipline. So whatever you do, you just set aside the time. So, but for art, pottery, ceramics, and painting, I paint and do according to my work schedule.
Do you do that at home as well, or do you only do it in the studio?
I do at home as well and mess up my home. So I prefer to do it in the studio because then I don't have to spend double the time cleaning up the studio. Yeah.
Not so relaxing, that part of it.
Yeah.
Ganesh?
Okay, for me, because I work in an office, so I'm always indoors and aircon settings. So I prefer to play during the daytime when the sun is still out. So preferred playtimes are, of course, morning, daytime, and evening up to before sunset. Although you can play bowls at night, but under the floodlights is not so great. And again, what I need is more sunlight. So, but I can't do that during weekdays because obviously I've got work unless it's an off day or holiday. So that's why I try and go down at least on over the weekend, at least one, if not both days. When the sun is out and you play in either the morning or afternoon, 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock is a good time. So I have to schedule it that way because of the work, right? The 9 to 6 kind of timings. So I schedule it over the weekends.
Okay, so you do try and find a time to do it.
Yeah.
And Abi, your running is I mean, you run through the day sometimes, right? So that's when you're training mode. But normally, when you're trying to relax, do you find a time to relax?
Generally, I love the mornings, early mornings before the sun rises. That's my time to relax, to get out on the trails. Before the sun rises, I'm back at home.
Okay, great. Yeah, before we wind up this session, could I just have from each of you one tip on relaxing that you would like to share with the audience? Let's start with you, Abi.
I think relaxing doesn't have to cost money, and it has to be something that you enjoy doing it. I think that's it. Just enjoy doing it.
Yeah, and do it cheap and free if you can. Okay. Ganesh?
Actually, yeah, there are many things you can do, like say sports, pottery, music, many things. So I'm sure each of us will have our some preferred mode. I think you should really pay attention and do it. Don't we get stuck with your job or gadgets that you don't go out, you don't mix around, you're always stuck, using that phone. And then like sometimes, I take the train back home or to work, and I always like to do this. I put my phone in my bag. I look around in that cabin of 10, 20 people. Let's say 10 persons, 8 will be on the phone. And then you look at their posture, neck posture, this. Maybe they are relaxing, watching the movie and all that, but fine. But I hope that they also do other things to really, relax body, mind, and so whatever it is, whatever form, I hope people just find a way to relax, and like what Abi said, doesn't cost much.
Okay, Janet.
My most important tip is don't compare and don't be over competitive. It sounds counterintuitive to running, because in running you always go for your best timing. But when it comes to art, I used to compare. Say, how come I started lesson 3 months ago and I'm so bad, and my classmate is doing much better, painting better, etc. Don't do that, because you always compare with yourself 3 months ago rather than with another classmate or or your fellow runner. So don't compare, because then you get so competitive and then you're not relaxing. Yeah.
Okay, good. That's good sound advice. And art?
Yeah, I think the best is, I think every person is different in different ways of relaxing and, different stresses as well. So I think everyone needs to find what is their sweet spot, what is the thing that calms them most, what makes them feel happiest most. And I think again, it's not something very expensive at all. It's free, and these days we are still caught up with our mobile gadgets and all that. I think the best way to relax is the analog way. Read a book, walk, get your head out of the internet for a while. I think that's causing a lot of stress. In fact, there's a study that says a lot of people are losing sleep because of mobile phones. Right. So a lot of, my friends say, I don't sleep much these days. And I said, how much do you spend on your phone every day? And do you sleep? Or do you look at your phone 1 hour before you sleep? Because apparently you're not supposed to look at your phone 1 hour before you sleep. Right. So all that, the blue light is affecting your sleep pattern. So when you don't get enough sleep, your body will get tired when you wake up. And that adds on to the stress. So I think finding ways of trying to find, like I said from the start, having a good sleep, that's most important. And one of the best way to get a good sleep is tire yourself out in the day. Right, Abi? Yeah.
Abi tired himself out day and night from the sounds of it. So no problems falling asleep. Hey, thank you guys, Abi, Ganesh, Janet, and Art. A lovely mix of points and perspectives about relaxing. And I think there's a lot for us to consider when we want to get into an activity or an endeavor that should be relaxing for us. Still keep an open mind, I think, because just from this discussion alone, there's so many things that we can tap into, right? So similarly, you never know what's out there. So instead of looking at the device all the time, get out, look around, see what's going on around in the world, and see where there might be something you might want to get into and explore for yourself. And it could be something which helps you calm yourself and center yourself and help you make better decisions as you make this journey through life. Thanks again to the panelists and to the audience. Learn how to relax, but let it come naturally if you can. I think that's probably the best way, rather than trying to force yourself to relax. Okay, and on that note, have a relaxing rest of the week.
Relax, brother, brother, relax, relax, brother, brother, relax, relax, brother, brother, relax, la.